All right. Third overall pick is ours. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Not worried about the futures game. The 2028 draft. Look at Scott Duff. He is the hope. He is like a guaranteed A potential. But will he fall to third overall? If we don't get him, it might have to be Pip. I know he's a closer. But otherwise, it's risking it on Felipe Valdez. Maybe Daniel Amasa. Our first choice is obvious. It's just whether or not he will be available. And then we get to worry about whether or not he'll sign. Here we go. Here we go. Who's ahead of us in the draft order? We were supposed to pick 7th. We win the lottery up to 3. It's Milwaukee and Seattle. With the first overall pick. In the 2028 draft, the Milwaukee Brewers select Alfonso Hernandez, the 45th projected starting pitcher. A very bold move from Milwaukee. Their scouts think that they found the guy. Alfonso Hernandez. The Seattle Mariners take Shelby Cruz, the 17th ranked starting pitcher. Meaning, with the 3rd overall pick, run to the podium. And his bonus demand's going to be lower, too, because he was projected 23rd, but our scouts think that they have found the man. Scott Duff. Duff Man is the pick. No doubt about it. We can't quite welcome Duff Man to Boston yet, but he looks good. He looks pretty damn good in that jersey, doesn't he? Please, baseball gods, do not let me get shafted by my first round pick again. Please. From here, it's a tough call. At 4, Minnesota takes the shortstop, Edgar Minoso. So the grandson of Minnie goes to Minnesota. Wasn't projected to go that high. The 2nd projected starting pitcher, Doug Hudson, is off to Washington. Our scouts did not like him nearly as much. Colorado takes starting pitcher Chris Shelton. Our scouts did like him quite a bit, so Colorado might be onto something there, if our scouts are correct. The Chicago White Sox take shortstop Felipe Valdez. I still think we made the right choice with Duff, obviously. Oakland at number 8. Take Preston Hitchcock, the starter. Again, our scouts liked him pretty much. So, not too bad. Pittsburgh takes starting pitcher Daniel Amasa, who, again, our scouts, through 40% scouted, liked quite a bit. And the final pick of the top 10 belongs to St. Louis. They take Jermaine Ham, another starting pitcher. Projected high. Our scouts didn't like him that much. Royals at 11, Felipe Cruz, the other shortstop. Projected 8th. Again, our scouts really did not like Felipe Cruz. They really didn't. Connie Lantigua on his way to Philadelphia. They might have gotten a pretty good player. Our scouts liked him. Number 13, the Marlins take first baseman Garrett Rosé after taking that other first baseman first overall a couple of years ago. Yankees at 14 take center fielder Robbie Brayman, who was projected way down the order, so maybe they found a gem. Damn. Philip Ting, starting pitcher, projected 40th, goes 15th to Arizona. This is the year of reaches in the drafts. As Brian Blank, starting pitcher, second round projection, he goes to the Angels. Geraldo Ramos, 94th projected. He was a right fielder. He goes to San Fran, 17th. Baltimore takes starting pitcher Chris Wilkins. Probably a good pick for them if our scouts are correct at the very least. Another starting pitcher for Baltimore. Cincy takes starting pitcher Abraham Mateo. Also earlier than projected. It's around where our scouts like them through a percentage of scouting. Gabriel Calderon. We never looked at him. Left fielder projected 29th. He goes to Texas. San Diego at 21st. Second baseman Brian Conley, who our scouts hated. He was projected 13th. Tampa takes Tim Gallegos, another starting pitcher. 65th projected. He goes 22nd. This is the year of the reach. Ken Foreman, left fielder. 51st was his rank. He goes in the first round. Robbie Stark, second baseman. He dropped a bit. I mean, he was projected 12th. He went 24. Yeah, son of Eric Foreman, exactly. Daryl Potts, starting pitcher, goes to the Cubs. A little bit after, but he was projected. Again, our scouts liked him. Houston at 26. Shout out to Soul. Soul, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. How was the stream? What were you up to tonight? I'm intrigued. Jamie Wellington goes to Houston. 101. My God. And he goes in the first round. Rangers fan, huh? I imagine we're talking Rangers as in baseball, but I don't know. I mean, I know you more from the hockey scene, obviously. NHL 23, fair enough. Charlie as a party. Great name. Losing an XBS. I know the feeling. Jack Avila goes to the LA Dodgers. Atlanta takes catcher Steve O'Connell. And Frank Diaz to the world champion Tigers goes 30th. No New York playing New Jersey tomorrow. Fair. Texas Rangers fan, though, huh? I mean, hey, things looking up, man. They're spending money. They're spending some good money. Roberto Petroza. Where are we? Okay, we're 43rd. We got to see some of these closers hold on, but I doubt it. Willie Leone goes to Baltimore. John Davis is off to Arizona. Man, if you get compensation picks, you get guaranteed bullpen help. I'm a Jays fan. I'm mostly not a baseball. Fair enough. I am just all sorts of confused here, aren't I, then? Oh, my God. The mustache on Roscoe Rosé. Whew. Kansas City takes Kevin Rush. Oh, my God. Pip, please make it. Could you imagine? Pittsburgh takes Ronnie Hunter. Oh, my God. You're doing baseball, and I always forget the Texas Rangers. Fair. It's okay. Guys, we might have a chance. There are two closers still left. Well, there goes one of them. White Sox get him at 37. Fuck. Washington takes the other guy, Bob Aldridge. Well, GG's. I have no idea who we're going to take next. Let's sim to our pick. Marlon Salinas, Jimmy Cutler off the board. Will Sims, who fell, and Fabio Castro were the next options. So who do we have available via team rank? You had to open your mouth. Yeah, well, it's kind of my job. All right, so obviously only a few percentage points scouted, but like Sam Johnson, Charlton Denton might be worth the shout for obvious reasons. There's Henry Gill, who we barely scouted. Andre Ransom. It is just determined to tempt me with these relievers. Apparently, everybody from here that we have scouted is just gone. Except for like Sonnenberg, Horvath. Oh, boy. Shout out to Pete Berger. Great name. Well, from the looks of it, it looks like we're risking it for a reliever and hoping that someone's actually better than they are. And again, we can't really trust our scouting ranks. In terms of who was scouted, though. Okay, so we have a choice. These three guys we did scout, and they're all projected to go right around here. Sonnenberg, Horvath, De Jesus. They're all projected to go right around here. Or we risk it for the guys that we did not scout, who were projected to go, in some cases, a little bit higher. We got 2 minutes to sort this out. I'm going to add Sonnenberg, Horvath, and De Jesus to the list. De Jesus was projected 7th. Our scouts have him at 46, 43, 42, and then, yeah, our scouts have these guys higher. So again, De Jesus was projected to go 7th. Horvath, 24th. Sonnenberg was a top 10 projection. Again, the top three we have no info on whatsoever. The bottom three we have a general idea. Oh, Major, what's going on, buddy? Go with your gut. My gut's yelling at me. I don't know what's going on. Major, so far so good. We got the 3rd overall pick. We finally won the lottery. So Ransom and Johnson are both a little bit older. The guys we've actually scouted are a little bit younger. They're all projected to go right around the same. It's either Horvath or De Jesus. Oh, man, this is tough. We're going to go with Joaquin De Jesus and try to believe that these guys actually suck. Chat's calling for De Jesus anyway, so I can blame you if you're wrong. Joaquin De Jesus is our 2nd round pick. We go to round 3. All the other dudes are off the board, as you would expect. There was a lot. Yeah, we are officially in no man's land here. Sonnenberg went to the Angels. Johnson went to Baltimore. We are officially going in blind for the rest of this draft. Right. Fair enough, still. We did get the center fielder. We did take a reliever. We could always take another. Catcher. Cleveland McKee is a great name. Cleveland McKee is a great name. I mean, Lee Kincaid. I mean, again, do you go for guys that you barely have scouted? We could risk it for Lee Kincaid. He looks like the best one. Second base. Bunch of 65 to 99s. An 80 to 99 Robert Cowan. Third base. Jason Maloney is a good name. 75 to 99. Fernando Liriano's the same. And Kevin McLeod apparently is also up there. Good to know. And then shortstop was another position of interest. Got the 65 of 99. There's a couple of them. Okay. So again, these are the positions. At least catcher through third is like, okay, we could use an elite option there. Shortstop is more like, hey, we could use a depth option. I can't say I'm overly optimistic because the risk with these guys is that their overalls are going to end up being terrible. McLeod or Cowan? We're both a little bit older, but maybe they're half decent. That dude's not projected to go in later. 187, 200, 116. I'm going to have to go off of rankings. And just hope that the AI aren't going over projections all that far. Is that correct? Yes, it was. And then Kelly is 161. We're going to try to treat this like an NHL draft, basically. Highest projected guy, given that we're at pick 81 and we're going up a little bit off the board. We're going to go for Jason Maloney, the third baseman, and hope for the best. Again, we are just going best guess at this stage. There's not much we can do. We could double up with third baseman Liriano, but we will not. Todd Kelly's got a great beard. Joel James, not so much, but Joel is apparently a switch hitter. We're going to go for Joel James at shortstop. Who do we have next? Another third baseman in McLeod. We'll take the catcher, Lee Kincaid. And then hopefully Cowan's available with that final pick. He is. So we were able to get somebody in pretty much every position that we have a little bit of a need for. Kelly's going to be MVP, probably. But we go best guess. Well, that's the first time we've seen that. Has an injury that will affect his long-term potential and current overall rating. He was a super low draft pick. I'm not that afraid. If we saw that with our first round pick, I'd be horrified. All right, the home run derby. We're in Chicago. And of course, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is leading the league in home runs now that he plays in Colorado. No kidding. No kidding. But yeah, you can tell there's been quite a bit of movement. Brits, good to see you. How are you tonight? And the All-Star Game. As for the AL, their starter, Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta gets the start for the American League. We don't have anybody up there pitching-wise, so who's our one nominee? Verdugo is still an absolute beast for Detroit, man. I can't believe it. We let go of Alex Verdugo, and he just goes off. My God. Austin Wells is apparently our all-star. Doesn't bode very well for us now, does it? By the way, he was there on the NL side, but we got to look at him. That's second baseman from the Reds. Mike Martinez. The best player we've ever seen drafted so far. He's insane.
Oh, good.
He is insane. Shout out to Fuddled Smoke, by the way. Wow. Okay. So, signing our picks. We have $12 million to do it, which is more than enough. We got to build up as much interest as possible on Duff and DeJesus. We're going to play it slow here. And let's try to build up a little bit more interest on Joel James. I know he's the guy with the injury. Actually, let's go for Maloney. Maybe? We'll go for James. I get that he's hurt, but I'm intrigued. So that'll be the first little 3-day plan there. So we get through the All-Star stuff. All right. So DeJesus is at least over 50%, which is nice. We are getting a little bit more info on him as we go along. I'm going to take both of them out for the moment. Let's get Maloney in there because I want to learn more about him. Same for Robert Cowan. That's the big thing. I just got to learn more about them right now and see if they're worth signing. A trade between Milwaukee and Arizona. Gabriel Moreno is on his way to the Brewers for what looks like a decent little trade package of prospects. So not too bad. All right. Again, we got a week and a half. Maloney. Wow. Both of these guys are still actually looking good as we continue to scout them. Let's keep this the same way. Let's keep it the same. Keep working on Duff. Both Cowan and Maloney. I mean, Cowan's at 50% scouted now, and that potential looks amazing. The overall might suck, though, for a 22-year-old. Let's get Cowan out of there for the moment. Let's go back to Joel James. Try to get him to 50%. Will Duff sign? That's the big question. Garcia on his way to Seattle. That looks like a hell of a deal for the Royals. Good young starter, really good young closer. It's an interesting choice there from Seattle, but I guess they view it as they can win this year. Oh my God, we're 5 games better than the Blue Jays. Maloney still looking decent in terms of potential. James, not so much at 25% scouted. But again, it's still worth signing him if we can. Let's give it another couple of days here. Again, we got to get Duff's value as high as we possibly can for this upcoming offer. Maloney's looking like he's going to be at least a B at 20 years old. Joel James isn't looking so hot. Last guy with low interest, Lee Kincaid. We know nothing about him. Sox, I don't know. I haven't risked it. In terms of offering Duff a deal right now, if we just, okay, we max out interest at 79%. I'm going to hit advance. To be honest, I kind of agree with that play of we got to experiment really quickly. We must experiment. We must. You can offer every time, whether he says no or not. Well, hey, we're going to find out for sure. We're going to find out for sure. Scott Duff, max offer, buddy. You wanted 3.8 in bonus money. I'm giving you almost 5 million more. Without controversy, Scott Duff signs with the Boston Red Sox, the 3rd overall pick. That leaves us just under $4 million to sign everybody else. We'll do what we can. The least scouted guy is Joel James. I want to continue to find out about him. Let's actually move Kincaid over to first. Whoops. Move you to silver first, and then move you over. I know Joel James had the injury. I still want to know about him, though. Just because he has an injury doesn't mean I'm not going to sign him. The Rangers, Garrett Crochet. For third baseman, Roberto Quezada. And shortstop, Phil Farron. Ooh, Sonic. Ooh. I think we have to take that. I think we do. Anybody want to drive him to the airport? Now, here's the problem. Garrett's on a wonderful deal. He is on a wonderful contract. He's turning the corner. Like, we should be okay to keep him. How has he done this year? He has 30 saves, 3 blown. Oh my God, he's been awesome. No wonder why they want him. He's been amazing. Oh, he's been amazing. At some point, though, we have to stop trading away and continue on. At some point, we have to do that. At third base, we have David Chen. Oh my God, David Chen's better than Sogard now. But if David Chen doesn't work, getting Quezada is a very good insurance plan. And then that way, in future seasons, we don't need to scout third baseman. Between Quezada and Chen, we'll be fine. And then at shortstop, Phil Farron's looking good. But we do have Marcelo Meyer. Yes, Farron can play elsewhere. Devers was traded to the Angels. Primarily for Bob Asensio, who you see at the top of the list there. I think I'm going to pass. Oh, man. I think I'm going to pass. Like I said, at some point we have to stop tearing down. I think we keep David Chen. And Farron's not going to usurp Marcelo. That's a really hard trade. That's a really hard trade to turn down, but we're already relatively strong in those positions, but we're not strong in relief. Like, having Garrett here on a front-loaded deal, so he's only going to be cheaper. I think we have to pass. Wow. I was not expecting to turn that down. The last window to build up interest. Shout out to Briggsy for the 4 months on the primer. I am doing fantastic. How are you? Maloney looks awesome. In terms of potential, so does Lee Kincaid. Joel James, I think we can forego signing officially. Officially, he was worth the risk, but yeah, with that injury, yeah, we can forego going after shortstop Joel James, which is okay. Let's get a little bit more interest up on DeJesus. Cowan, we already know we're going to go after as well. I think we did very good in this draft in terms of low interest players. Or at least in terms of players that will have high potential. It's just whether or not they sign. That's going to be our final deal here. So we go. The son of Andrew Jones, Drew Jones, is on his way to the Marlins for Ian Lewis, Alejandro Corona, and Mackenzie Salinas. Marlins are going for it again. Astros, yeah, no. Oh, God, that's like the #1 fucking prospect in baseball. He's been top 2, top 3 at worst. And Phil Kemp is mid, but man, they are basically offering us the best right field prospect in baseball. Oh, I know, Soul, it's terrible. Dude, Matt Holliday's kid was just drafted as well. It's nuts. It's nuts. The #1 prospect in baseball, Hubert McDonald. Now, we do have DeLauder and Blay there. But imagine Kevin Simmons, Duffman, and Hubert McDonald in the outfield. Fuck, they drive a hard bargain. I think we have to take that. We do have right fielders, though. You're not wrong. DeLauder. Essentially, the situation we'd be in is building around Hubert McDonald and trying to move DeLauder out and trade him. Same for Blay. They would both become expendable. This is tough, man. This is very, very tough. Because if you look at the rest of the relievers, and I agree, relief pitching is only valued so high. That's the reason why in the draft so many relievers go in the second round. We do have Doug Brown. We do have Andreas Lawrence. Aside from that, it's a little bit rough, but we could use free agency to build back up. We also have enough starters. We could have a couple of long relievers. See if the Astros even need him. I mean, they're the defending world champs. They do. They need him badly. It is true. I mean, Hentich is on a 15-year deal, yeah, but I mean, it's cheese, you know? It's a cheese deal. What the hell? Will there be another reliever out there like Garrett? He's been amazing. He had 6 blown saves last year. Hubert still has a bit of a way to go in terms of development. How's he doing in AAA? 789 OPS in AAA. Hell of a lot of contract control. Form's better when the team's behind. Razor, I'm trying not to modify trade offers. Let's take it or leave it. I'm also trying not to use the trade finder because the trade finder is still broken. Derp, he is on our team. He's right there. How's Chase doing this year? 865 OPS is tough to trade away. He's 2 years away from a big contract. He is very solid. And then Blay has 238 at-bats. He has a 690. The number one damn prospect. Like I said, top 3 at worst. I do it if you aren't paying Chase later. Well, see, that's the thought, right? Is when Chase's deal is up, we'll be able to qualify him. And he will sign somewhere, and we will get compensation picks. It's almost a virtual certainty. Meanwhile, Hubert McDonald will have a hell of a lot of contract control through. And we know he's going to pan out. And we just took a center fielder, 3rd overall, because it's the elite center fielder that we need. And then we have Kevin Simmons in left. Garrett's such a fucking good reliever, though. The problem is our bullpen could absolutely sink us in the future. It could. It could. We'll be at the mercy of whoever's out there. It's done. It's done. Hello, Hubert McDonald. Alongside Kevin Simmons and our 3rd overall center fielder. Tomorrow's deadline day. I don't know if we can work out a trade in time, but we can look.